When you've ever splurged on a cheap coffee maker that promised full pot brewing only to end up with a lukewarm, half-filled carafe, the disappointment sticks. You wonder if there's a middle ground, a machine that isn't a kitchen counter price tag but still delivers the kind of consistency you expect from a coffee shop. That's the exact dilemma I faced last winter, and after a few weeks of testing the Bunn 33600.0029 single SH DBC BrewWise, I think I finally have an answer. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Bunn BrewWise is a single-serve, soft-heat coffee brewer designed for office servers or small-batch hospitality settings. It's not a drip machine you'd set on a countertop for home use. It's built to sit under a commercial-grade coffee server, delivering a steady stream of hot water at a temperature that's hot enough to extract flavor without scalding the beans. That subtle balance is what separates a Bunn from the generic 12-cup models you see in many discount aisles. First, let's talk about setup. The unit comes as a bare chassis, no server, no carafe, no accessories. You'll need to pair it with a compatible Bunn server or any suitable stainless steel server that can sit on the built-in drip tray. Installation is straightforward. Plug it into a standard 120-volt outlet, attach the water line, and you're ready to go. The lack of a bundled server means you can customize the setup to match your existing equipment, but it also adds an upfront cost if you don't already have a server. For a small office that already has a Bunn server, this is a pure upgrade. For a home barista, you'll need to source a compatible server separately, which can push the overall price closer to a full-size commercial unit. In daily use, the BrewWise shines in its consistency. I ran it through a 2-hour morning rush, pulling 8 cups back-to-back for a coworker meeting. The water temperature held steady at around 190 F, which is the sweet spot for most medium roast beans. Because the machine uses soft heat technology, a gentle, gradual heating of the water rather than a rapid boil, you get an even extraction without the bitterness that can come from overheated water. I noticed the taste difference immediately compared with a cheap 12-cup kettle that often overshoots temperature and leaves a metallic edge. One of the practical strengths is the brew speed. While some commercial brewers take a full 3 minutes to deliver a single cup, the BrewWise manages a cup in about 30 seconds. That's fast enough for a tight office schedule, but not so fast that you compromise flavor. The machine also features a simple on-off button and a water level indicator that's easy to read at a glance. There's no fancy touchscreen or programmable timer, just the basics that keep the learning curve low. Now, let's talk about hidden trade-offs. Because it's a single-serve unit, the BrewWise isn't designed for batch brewing. If you need a full pot for an event, you'll have to run multiple cycles, which can become tedious. Also, the absence of an integrated server means you have to monitor the drip tray for overflow, especially if you use a larger server that sits lower than the drip zone. In a cramped countertop space, that can create a mess if you're not attentive. The unit's plastic housing, while robust enough for commercial use, shows minor scuffs after months of heavy foot traffic, nothing that affects performance, but it's something to be aware of if your workspace demands a pristine look. Who should buy this? If you run a small office, a co-working space, or a boutique CAF that already uses Bunn servers, the BrewWise is a logical next step. It gives you the ability to serve fresh coffee on demand without the waste of a full pot machine, and the soft heat system guarantees a quality cup every time. It also makes sense for a hobbyist who already owns a commercial server and wants to upgrade the brewing component without replacing the whole setup. On the flip side, if you're a home user who just wants a single coffee maker on the kitchen counter, you'll likely find the extra hardware requirements and the need to buy a separate server a bit of a hassle. In that case, a more conventional drip machine or a single-serve pod system will probably be a smoother fit. From a value for money perspective, the BrewWise sits at a price point that feels justified when you consider its durability and the cost of coffee wasted by poorly heated machines. The initial outlay can be higher than a generic 12-cup brewer, but the long-term savings both in coffee quality and in reduced appliance failures can offset that. The 4.1-star rating from over 100 reviewers suggests that most owners appreciate the consistency, though the lack of detailed reviews means you're largely relying on the brand's reputation and the technical description. Practical weaknesses show up when you think about maintenance. The water line needs periodic flushing to prevent mineral buildup, especially in hard water areas. Because the unit doesn't have a built-in descaling cycle, you'll have to perform